The brothers met in the sterile hotel room. Julian was ready, radiating impatience, his posture tense. Ethan, still lounging in Julian's clothes, appeared completely relaxed, as if at home in his brother's life. "It's over, Ethan," Julian said, his voice clipped. "The 2 weeks are done. Give me my life back." Ethan didn't budge, his calm demeanor unshaken.
I need more time, Julian. Something came up. Chloe mentioned she had something to say. Something heavy in her chest.
Chloe and I are leaving tonight for the Shanghai Gala. The setting, the mood, it might finally get her to say what she has to say. This could change everything. Who knows? Julian's eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening at the mention of the Shanghai Gala. The financial threat loomed large, and he knew Ethan was right. But the control he had worked so hard to maintain was slipping. "Fine," Julian said through gritted teeth. "1 week for your gala. But I want to go back to your house now."
Sarah needs your attention, Ethan. Your intimacy, if you don't come back quick to show her you're still invested, you'll lose her. Don't complicate things.
Ethan's face shifted, a mixture of disbelief and mock sympathy crossing his features.
Oh, wow. You did that. She hasn't been intimate with me for a while.
Ethan said.
Cut that crap, Ethan. How long would I keep denying her? You need to come to her quick. This is on you. You need to fix things now, before it's too late.
Ethan leaned forward, his eyes darkening. "You're talking about fixing things? What about you? You were the one who asked for this. Now I'm the one who's getting Chloe to see things clearly now. She's starting to understand me better. I mean, you. Oh, forget it." Julian smirked, sensing his brother's discomfort.
What? Finish your sentence. She's starting to understand you better? What are you not saying?
Did you? No. She can't even love you. You don't have that class. Ethan's face flushed with a mix of anger and humiliation, but he stood tall, trying to mask the sting of Julian's words. "She's getting there," he said, his voice edged with something darker. "She's starting to understand everything. Maybe not the way you want, but I'm doing what you couldn't." Julian's eyes drilled into him, his tone suddenly cold. "She'll never get intimate with you, Ethan. Even with all my fancy suits and finesse you have access to now. You don't have what it takes."
You will always be a shadow of me.
The room was thick with the weight of their words. Both men stood on opposite sides of their own betrayals, but neither could step away. Ethan leaned forward, his voice steady but carrying an underlying tension. "I think Chloe is about to reveal something that may be of value to you, to us." Julian cut him off, his eyes darkening, his voice low with menace.
There is no us, Ethan.
"It's me."
Me and only me. You're not in the will, Ethan.
Part of the reason I came up with this plan is just to see how we can sneak you into the Empire. That's it. 1 week, he bit out, defeated. For the gala. And then you switch back. 1 week. Ethan agreed, a mixture of triumph and profound guilt filling his face. The week following the confrontation was a constant, searing pressure on Julian's conscience and Ethan's control. Trapped in the small apartment, Julian was consumed by gnawing guilt and fear. He needed to secure his assets and avoid Ethan encountering a critical deadline. He regretted the swap, realizing the true cost of the validation he received from Sarah was the exposure of his entire empire. The immediate crisis was financial. A major acquisition payment was due. Driven by the need to secure his assets, Julian initiated the transfer from an offshore account. As the payment initiated, Julian quickly sent Ethan a highly encrypted text message, a mere courtesy to keep up with appearances and maintain the illusion of shared control. Contingency transfer initiated. Authorize immediately to avoid delay. Everything is routine. In his haste, Julian totally forgot the complexity of his security. The system flagged the transaction originating from a wrong location, Ethan's city, requiring the biometric scan at the London office. I feel so exposed, Julian thought, sinking onto the sofa. If complications arise, it will cost a lot to fix it. In Julian's penthouse office, Ethan received the alert and the encrypted message. Ethan pressed his hand against the scanner. Access denied. Identity missect. He moved his face to the camera. Access denied. Biometric failure. The transfer was instantly halted. The bank's fraud division prompted a voice verification to the CEO's direct line. Ethan tried to fake an answer, but failed the voice check. Immediately, a message flashed in Julian's main email inbox. Julian read the email on his phone, his blood running cold. The payment was dead. The clause was at risk. Ethan's moral constraints vanished. He couldn't risk the security team tracing the failure back to the CEO's desk. Without hesitation, he called Julian's most ruthless security consultant. He ordered the digital destruction of the failure records and the implementation of a temporary, text-based override. He framed the incident as a malicious, external hack, effectively dismantling the Empire's most secure system to cover up his physical failure. But the main problem remained. The payment was dead. The system required a 7-day override protocol before any money could be moved. The acquisition was stalled, and the Empire was facing a humiliating default. Ethan felt the panic rising. He turned to Chloe Sterling, who had been watching his high-pressure crisis with rapt admiration.
Chloe, the acquisition payment is stalled.
A system error. It's a massive, embarrassing default that could cost us the acquisition. It requires a 7-day system override, time we don't have. Chloe looked at him, her eyes shining with love for the man who was finally showing her his vulnerability. She saw her chance to finally prove her worth as a partner. It won't cost us the acquisition, Chloe said simply, pulling out her phone. I can make the money available until you resolve the problem. I have the liquidity. Ethan stared at her, stunned into silence.
We don't have to wait 7 days.
Her immense fortune, which Julian never knew existed, was now being offered to save his own empire, purely out of love for the imposter. Julian later received the email confirmation of the successful neutralization of the internal threat and the temporary biometric override. He also received a terse, cryptic text from Ethan. Payment authorized. Acquisition secured. Julian immediately texted Ethan. The payment was stalled. I saw the 7-day lockout. How did you authorize it? Ethan's voice was cold. You are too panicked to run this empire, Julian. Chloe saved the acquisition. She made the money available. A wave of disbelief, anger, and staggering humiliation washed over Julian. What? How? Where did she get the money? He realized his own fiancée had used her secret liquidity, which he never knew existed, to save his empire, and she had done it out of love for his brother. Julian Vance was vibrating with raw desperation. He received the confirmation that the acquisition was secured, but the message contained the final, devastating blow. Payment authorized. Acquisition secured. Chloe provided the liquidity. Julian stared at the screen, the rage in his chest stealing his breath. He immediately pulled up the legal documents for the acquisition. The stalled payment was a precise £100,000 bridge loan. What? How?
Where did she get the money from?
£100,000 in liquid funds to deploy in 2 hours. Julian's arrogance shattered. He realized Chloe's hidden wealth was real, proving his 5-year engagement was founded on a lie he was too self-absorbed to pierce. His humiliation was absolute.
Let's discuss the details.
1,000
further.
miles away, Ethan Vance,
I'm available
as
tomorrow
Julian,
morning.
was intoxicated by power. The £100,000 from Chloe, an amount small in the scheme of the empire, but monumental in their personal relationship, was a binding emotional commitment he now possessed. His ambition was now boundless. He saw Chloe not just as a love, but as the resource that made his position utterly unassailable. Meanwhile, Julian, as Ethan, had to maintain the charade. Sarah was growing increasingly frustrated by his manic intensity and constant focus on his laptop. The joy she had found in his decisive strength had evaporated, replaced by frantic, tearful anxiety. "Ethan," she pleaded one evening, grasping his arm.
Ethan, please! I know you're punishing me! I'm sorry! Please!
"Don't punish me like this. Don't pull away. I need you." Julian felt a bitter pang of moral self-recrimination. He had the validation he craved. Sarah was begging forgiveness for her desire for a strong man. But he could only see the small, cheap room and the impossibility of bringing her into his real world. His heart ached for the lie, but his mind screamed, "I have to get my life back, regardless of anything." Julian was forced to watch the Shanghai Gala on a secure stream. He saw Ethan deliver the successful acquisition speech, a masterclass in confidence. Then came the final, definitive betrayal. As Ethan stepped away from the crowd, a scuffle ensued with a photographer. A quick, unfiltered video clip was posted to social media. The video was shaky, but undeniably clear. It showed Chloe, radiant and proud, reaching up and pulling Ethan, as Julian, into an aggressive, passionate kiss. Julian focused his laptop, agonizingly able to read her lips. Brilliant delivery. "I love you." Ethan, instead of pulling away, met the embrace with an immediate, hungry reception. Julian slammed his laptop shut, the raw, ugly sound of his voice tearing through the small apartment.
Damn you, girl!
Julian screamed, tears of pure rage burning his eyes.
Girl, that was my speech. I wrote all that within 1 hour's notice! Then you reward him for doing nothing.
He slammed his fist onto the table, his fury pivoting entirely to his brother. "You bastard! That's why you are no longer a Vance. I will end your shine, traitor. You've gone too far." Julian hopped on Ethan's rickety bike. The lie was irreversible. The £100,000 bailout, the 7-day clause clock, and the publicly affirmed intimacy of his fiancée all drove him to one immediate action. He was returning to London, ready to face the music. His final thought as he rushed out: "He thinks he has won everything. He thinks he has the money. You will never get access to my money, Ethan. The clause is locked, and the moment you fail, I will be there to take it all back. I will marry Chloe and get my funds. And I will deal with the disownment scandal myself. And wait till my Chloe finds out what you did."